How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Steins 0. Last time, things just got really crazy. We started going in the direction of the final route, or at least I'm pretty sure that we're in the final route now, and that there is only one more route to do. But yeah, things just got downright crazy. We got attacked. Russian soldiers, I think, came out and started attacking our main characters. I believe it was Okabe, Maho, and Daru. But everyone's alive. Everyone is good. Just a really wild situation to come back to after not playing the game for about a month. But let us continue and let's see what exactly is going on. Akihabara was in an uproar. There were lots of helicopters in the sky that probably belonged to the media. We escaped to the lab, making sure that no one was following us. It hadn't been that long since we were attacked at the hotel. If the cops found us at the scene of another crime like that, they'd be suspicious for sure. So we ran before the police arrived. Suzuha wasn't at the lab. Maybe she'd sensed what was going on outside and went to check on the time machine. We held our breath and waited. I felt like if we let anyone know we were here, more scary people would burst down the door and charge in.
ここタオルって置いてある。
洗面所にある。
Maho nodded and brought a new towel from the washroom. She handed it to me.
岡部さん、首血が出てる。これで押さえて。
Oh, that's right. I forgot. We kind of got a little cut, but we're okay.
ありがとう。
My neck was wet with blood. Fortunately, it wasn't a deep wound, so it wasn't long before it stopped. Oh shit. I got a donation. I'm also streaming this. I got a donation from Jared. My good buddy Jared gave me $11 for some reason and said Suzuha. Thank you, Jared. Thank you for $11 during my recording session. I'm not supposed to be referring to the fact that I'm streaming. But anyways, after handing me the towel, Maho sat down right on the floor and didn't move. I knew how she felt, especially since this was the second time she'd been attacked. And this time, people had died right in front of her.
大丈夫か、比叡城さん。
She nodded hesitantly, but her face was deathly pale. And I realized she'd been clutching her left hand into a fist this whole time, and there was blood coming out of it.
怪我したのか、見せて。
Evidently, she hadn't noticed she'd been hurt. She was looking at her left hand, confused.
どうした？
指開かない。変ね。
Maho had been holding some small fragment in her left hand. Her hand had frozen around it and wouldn't move. Soon it started to shake. I grabbed her hand and forced open her fingers one by one. Whatever it was, she'd been clutching it so tightly that she'd cut off the blood flow to her fingers. They were very cold. When I finally forced her hand open, the thing she was holding fell to the floor. What was it? I picked it up.
Oh.
It was a piece of the hard drive. It was a red piece of magnesium alloy. It was a piece of Kirisu's laptop. The laptop. She must have grabbed it off the ground when she was running away. If she held something so sharp tightly for so long, of course she was going to bleed. I returned it to Maho without a word. She took the broken fragment and cradled it in her hands, and stared at it with an empty expression. Suddenly, a single line of tears dripped down her cheek. After that, it didn't stop. She continued to sob.
クリス。ごめん。ごめんね。守ってあげられなくて。ごめんね。
It was as if that tiny fragment was Kirisu herself. She held it to her chest and kept crying.
ヒヤジョウさん。
We know how much Kirisu meant to Maho, and we gradually learned more about that, especially when we went down her route. Very understandable why she's like this, but man, she was attached to the fact that her laptop and hard drive are like things left behind by Kirisu, and that's all that she could be remembered by, or proof that she was alive, which is completely untrue, and I brought that up last time.
きっとクリスは安心したと思う。君が無事でよかったって。だから君が謝ることなんてない。謝らなくてもいいんだ。
She didn't respond. Instead, a phone started to vibrate.
私
Maho took out her cell phone and looked at the message she received.
レスキネン教授からだわ。
どうした？
荒らされたって。オフィスとあとホテルの部屋、教授と私のひどいことになってるって。
そうか。
Whether it was the Rounders, the Russians, or whoever had first surrounded the cosplay shop, it must have been after Kirisu's laptop and hard drive.
あの PC バックアップは存在しないんだよな。
ええ。
それならこれでよかったんだ。クリスの残したものが何十億もの人を殺す道具として使われることはなくなったんだから。
Not sure about that one, Chief. In the end, I got what I wanted. The data was destroyed before anyone got their hands on it. There was so little left that I was sure there would be no way to restore it.
つかさ、ロシアはなんであの PC を壊しちゃったんだろう。
I'm looking at my stream chat and poor Jared doesn't know who Maho is. He only watched the first season of Steins Gate. My man, you gotta watch this one. Or you could watch my playthrough of it.
手に入れようとしてたんじゃなかったん？
今のところタイムマシン開発競争じゃん。ロシアがリードしてるんだ。ロシアからすればノート PC を手に入れられればそれでよし。だが他の連中に奪われるぐらいなら壊してしまった方がマシって考えてたんじゃないか。
They probably wanted to avoid a protracted gunfight with the Rounders in broad daylight in Japan. The cold way they made their decisions made me shiver. They really were professional soldiers. An amateur couldn't do that.
で、これからどうする？
できればここにはいたくない。
Russia might not know about this place, but Moika might. No, she will know about it because she's been here. I think. Yeah, we've invited her here before, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know if it's in this branch. Because there are two branches. I don't know if that happened in this one. If the Rounders were on the move, then Tennoji downstairs might be involved too. That's a good point. It would have been great if Suzuha had come back, but I couldn't get in touch with her. Could it be possible that she actually just straight up left? Like she just dipped out? Maho was sinking into a warm bathtub. She could finally feel blood flowing through her body again. The heat melted the tension away from her muscles. Her injured hand hurt a little, but it wasn't unbearable. She felt like she'd come back to life. Once the sun had set, Maho and Rintaro had gone to Feris, the cat-eared maid at May Queen Yan Yan, for help. That seems to be the continuous thing. Like, that's what happens every time. Feris's home was at the top of a high-rise condo building on prime Akihabara real estate. From a security perspective, it was superior to the future gadget lab in every way imaginable. Feris welcomed the two of them, offering them food and a place to sleep. And now she'd even offered them a bath. Maho was a little worried about Itaru Hashida. He'd insisted on staying to wait for his younger sister Suzuha, and remained alone at the future gadget lab. More than an hour had passed since then. Had Rintaro heard anything? And even if they'd move, that didn't mean this place was safe. The group from this afternoon could attack at any time. She couldn't help but feel nervous, and that made her feel terrified and vulnerable as she sat naked in the bath. She got out of the bathtub and hurried to the changing room to wipe herself down. She tried to put on the change of underwear Feris had given to her. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second, game. Hold on a hold on a second, game. And her hand started to shake. Then her knees buckled and she fell to the ground. Well, you know what? It's been good streaming on Twitch. I'm glad I decided that this recording session will be streamed on Twitch.
極度の緊張とそこからの急激な緩和で一時的にひどい近視感が起こってる。
She tried to stay calm by analyzing herself, but that didn't mean she could do anything but lie down.
これはまずいわ。
Alarm bells were going off in her head. She'd just about given up, knowing that it would pass with time, when Feris popped her head in. Feris screamed and started to panic when she saw Maho naked and lying on the floor. You can drop the nya shit right now. It's kind of important that Maho's dying.
いや、別に大丈夫だから。
Maho's voice was so weak that Feris didn't even hear her.
とにかくベッドに連れてかなくちゃ。
Feris tried to pick up the naked Maho and then slipped and dropped her. Oh, lovely. That'll help. Maho hit the back of her head on the floor. She saw little stars dancing across her field of vision. Sprawling naked on the floor face up, Maho tried to force herself to stand, but her arms were too weak.
聞いて、これはすぐに治るから。
But Feris wasn't listening. For some reason, she decided to reach around Maho from behind and try to drag her up. And then Rintaro must have heard Feris' scream because he ran in. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
どうしたんだ、フェイリス。
Uh-oh. She wanted to scream, but all that came out was a tiny whimper. Poor Okabe.
本当に悪かった。この通りだ。
Rintaro lowered his head deeply towards Maho as she lay on the bed.
謝らなくてもいいわ。さっきのはあくまでも事故なんだから。
I mean, it was. But she still couldn't bear to look him in the face. Just remembering the despair and embarrassment she'd felt when he saw her naked body made her want to bury her head in a pillow and flail her legs back and forth. To make matters worse, she still hadn't been able to stand up after all that, and Rintaro had been forced to carry her to the bed. She'd never been touched by a boy before, and so it was only today that she realized how rugged male arms were. Yeah! Being carried was extremely uncomfortable, to the point where she'd squirmed around and almost slipped out of his arms. She really is a damn child. So she'd had no choice but to curl herself into a ball and let Rintaro do whatever he wanted with her, which made her feel really strange. And now she couldn't even bear to look at his face. Fedis was sitting next to Rintaro, feet under her knees, with her shoulders slumped.
いいのよ。むしろ驚かせてしまってごめんなさい。
体は平気なのか？病院に行かなくても。
強い緊張が続いていたから、その反動が来ただけ。もう少し休めば回復すると思う。心配かけてしまったわね。みっともないわ。
みっともないもんか。今日みたいなことに巻き込まれれば誰だって怖い。具合だって悪くもなる。
あなたでも怖い？
ああ。
そう。
今夜はもう休むといいにゃ。事件のこととかこれからどうするかとか難しい話は元気になってから考えるといいにゃ。
そうね。ええ、そうするわ。ありがとう。
Yeehaw, we're going to sleep. Maho closed her eyes. The lights went out and Rintaro and Fedis left the room. She lay on the bed and tried not to think about anything. She could hear the pounding of her heart. It would get louder and then softer. The rhythm was very strange. And then she could hear a kind of static noise mixed in with her heartbeat, like a broken TV. Was it exhaustion-induced tinnitus? Whatever it was, once she noticed it, she couldn't sleep.
そういえば、岡部さんが精神安定剤を服用しているって言ってたわね。
She wasn't supposed to do this, but if she looked at their ingredients, she could tell what medications had what effect. Should she take a look and have him lend her some? If that wasn't possible, she could at least get some over-the-counter antihistamines to use as a sleep aid. She turned over.
大声を出さないで、言うことを聞いて。さもないと、命はない。
Wait a minute. Suddenly she heard a voice break through the unpleasant noise. Okay, so she's not imagining this. This is happening. How the yuck did she get in here? She gulped and leapt out of bed. Terror-stricken, Maho tried to crawl to the door, but her legs wouldn't move like she wanted to. She couldn't stand up. The voice in her ears followed her wherever she went. It was like a wild animal toying with its prey. All of the hairs on her body were standing up on end. Her jaw was chattering so hard she bit her tongue. She desperately crawled across the carpet and towards the door.
一人殺してみせればいい。
Okay, that's not real. You can kind of see through her.
やめて。やだ。やだ。
ヒヤジョさん。おい。
She woke up to find herself being violently shaken by the shoulders. She looked around the room, panting. She was in bed and Rintaro was looking down at her. Her whole body was sweaty and she felt sick. There was a burning sensation deep in her stomach.
どうした？
誰かがここに。
Rintaro looked around. Fittis came a moment later, as well as the older man who was her butler, but they were simply standing at the entrance of the room concerned.
きっと悪い夢を見たんだ。
The antique clock on the shelf said that at some point it had gotten past 1 a.m. She must have slept for hours without realizing it.
そうね、夢だったみたい。
She took a painful breath and wiped the sweat off her forehead without realizing that she sounded just like a little child. She sent Fittis and the butler back to their rooms. Rintaro brought her a towel from the washroom.
ひどい汗だ。拭いた方がいい。
She did as he said and wiped the beads of sweat off her face, chest, and limbs. As she was deciding whether or not to wipe the inside of her pajamas, Rintaro took the hint and turned around.
俺も自分の部屋に戻るから、何かあったらいつでも声をかけてくれ。
Big boy Okabe.
ん橋田さんは？
あ、さっき連絡が来たよ。鈴葉とも合流したって。
そう。
それじゃあ。
Rintaro was about to leave her bedside. But Maho, and she couldn't believe she was doing this, reached out and grabbed the hem of his shirt without thinking.
お願い、少しだけでいいからここにいて。
ヒヤ長さん、
一人にしないで。
Huh? Maho was surprised by the words she was saying, but the thought of spending this terrible night all by herself was too much for her. Rintaro must have understood how she felt because he nodded without smiling.
わかった。眠るまで一緒にいるよ。
ありがとう。わがまま言ってごめんなさい。
いや、いいんだ。どうせ俺もなかなか寝つけなかったし。
You having a problem opening your actual mouth there? Like, you know, unclenching your teeth so you can actually speak correctly? Okabe?
後ろ向いてるから。
There you go.
汗だけはちゃんと拭くといい。
ええ。
While Rintaro stared back at the door, she took off her pajamas and wiped off the thick layer of sweat that covered her whole body. She tried to put her pajamas on again, but they were too drenched for her to want to wear them. She had no choice but to dive back under the covers in nothing but her underwear, and bring the comforter way above her chest.
もういいわ。
Amidst the dim glow of the nightlight, Rintaro brought a chair to the side of the bed and sat down. Nah, dude, just lie in the
ここで
bed.
見張ってるから何も怖がらなくていい。これなら安心だろ。
Nah. What you gotta do is you gotta lie in the bed with her and hold her hand. Then she'll know she's A-okay.
不安か？
大丈夫。
Maho's face felt hot from some feeling that she didn't understand. She sank deeper under the blanket and turned away from Rintaro. She softly closed her eyes. She could feel his presence behind her. The two of them stopped talking, and the only noise was the distant sounds of night coming from beyond the curtain. How long did they spend like that? Just as she was about to fall into a light sleep, she heard a soft voice in her ears.
ヒヤ嬢さん、まだ起きてるか？
ええ。
She felt herself waking up again. God damn it, Okabe, it's hard for me to go to sleep. I can understand if she's frustrated now. She opened her eyes and turned back toward Rintaro, only to see him staring toward the window. It was as if he was trying to see some sight that lay beyond it. His profile is so handsome. Huh. You damn right. For some reason, that was the thought that came to her.
どうかしたの?
Rintaro seemed unwilling to talk, so Maho decided to speak first. He swallowed loudly.
本当はずっと言おうと思ってたけど勇気がなかった。すまない。
何のこと？
俺は一つだけ。
一つだけ。
He's gonna tell her that he was actually the one who killed Kirisu. Well, albeit an accident, he's still the one who did it, and that's haunting him.
君に重大なことを隠している。
Maho leaned forward, not caring that he might see her chest.
さっき話したよな。別の世界線のことやそこで出会ったクリスのこと、タイムマシンやタイムリープのこと。
ええ。
クリスとその父親のことも。
ええ。
あの時本当はもう一つ言わなきゃいけないことがあったんだ。でもどうしても言い出せなかった。
His head was slumping forward in the chair. Maho waited silently for his next words. Despite the late hour, she heard a helicopter in the distance. For some reason, it sounded really loud. She hadn't seen the news, but it was possible that the media was still talking about the gun battle that had taken place this afternoon.
これは君にだけは絶対に話すべきことだったのに。
When he finally spoke, his expression was unlike any look she'd ever seen on his face before. It was pained, sad, and suffering, like someone at the bottom of a deep, dark place. And yet there was something in his eyes that hinted at incredible self-hatred and rage.
Okabe-san.
Suddenly her chest felt like it was about to burst from pain. She didn't know where the pain was coming from, but she wanted Rintaro to stop looking like that.
あの日、ラジカンでクリスを。
His hands were forming some kind of shape, like he was holding an invisible knife.
クリスを殺したのは。
もういいわ。
She screamed, unable to take it anymore. She rolled out of bed, forgetting how she was dressed, and covered Rintaro's hands with her own.
いいの、もういい。それ以上言わなくていいから。私はあなたを信じているわ。だから話さなくていい。いつかその時が来たら嫌でも聞かせてもらうことになると思う。でもそれは今じゃない。
I'm just loving what's being said in the chat. Like, I keep on glancing over it. Like, I really should not reference or bring up the chat and everything, because this is more of a recording session than a stream. But goddamn, I'm just loving the chat today.
その時が来るまでは口をつぐんでおきなさい。
But no, this is a serious moment. She strengthened her grip and forced him to let go of the invisible knife. Nintaro nodded without saying another word. They simply stared at each other for a while. Maho couldn't look away from his gaze. It was as if he was clinging to something or wandering in search of salvation. She sneezed.
風邪ひくぞ。
And it was only then that she realized she was holding Nintaro's hands while wearing next to nothing. Nintaro looked a little embarrassed.
ごめんなさい。
Okabe responds, "It's okay. I'm used to it." She quickly jumped back into the blankets. She curled up into a ball and tore at her hair, screaming inside her mind. She'd let a boy see her naked not once, but twice. In the same night.
私、今度こそもう寝るわ。
邪魔して悪かった。
邪魔だなんて思ってないわよ。でもさっきの話はこの場限りにしていい？
Never bring it up again or I will fucking end you.
いい？
あ、ありがとう。ヒヤジョーさん。
God damn, stop clenching your teeth when you're smiling.
言われる筋合いはないわ。それじゃあ、おやすみなさい。
おやすみ。
The room got quiet again. The adrenaline rush kept Maho awake. After a while, she heard snores coming from Rintaro's direction. Evidently, he'd fallen asleep. He must have been tired. He went through the same attack that Maho had. Of course he was. His breathing wasn't peaceful at all, it was pained. He may have been in the grip of some terrible nightmare. Maho hesitated several times, but finally she turned over and stretched out her hand from the blankets. She softly touched the back side of his hand. She felt its warmth on her fingertips.
クリスはあなたのことをなんて呼んでいたのかしら。
Huh. Many lovely things.
岡部さん？それとも凛太郎だったのかな。
She didn't know, but it didn't matter.
しっかりしなさい。岡部凛太郎。この私が好きになった人はそんなに弱い男だったわけ。
Anime. She tried to think about how Kirisu would say those words, and eventually Nintaro's breathing started to become more peaceful. Relieved, she let go, and then she changed her mind and grabbed the hem of his shirt again. She felt embarrassed, as if she was a little kid, but at the same time she felt like now she might not have any more nightmares. That night, for the first time in a very long time, or a long while, she dreamed of a smiling Kirisu. That's good, I'm sure. Damn, what a long and crazy night. Alright, that'll be the end of this episode. I'm going to record a little bit more since I'm streaming this. So the next episode will just be a direct continuation of this session. So thank you for watching this one. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode.